rational, it will succeed. You know, cryptos are like religions. And I've said it before, and I don't think it's prejudicial to say that. You've got plenty of religions through the history of mankind, ideologies, and people join the ideology because they believe in it and they get value from it. And if you think about the ideologies that lasted 1,000 years, the ones that, were virtuous and had good values tended to grow and prosper, and the ones that were corrupt, run by demagogues, that were not virtuous, were full of vice, tended to crash and burn. And you don't believe me? Go study the history of religion. You'll find that 99% of them fail over the course of 100 years. 99.99% fail over the course of a few thousand years. And so ideologies will lift or destroy a commodity. Companies will destroy the securities or elevate them. And the tokens will live or die with the celebrity. And they are what they are, and I think that you've got three different regulatory regimes. You've got the current regime, which is a bit passive-aggressive and chaotic. That's where we're living right now. In that regime, there is only one safe haven. The only thing in the current status quo is buy Bitcoin. Own Bitcoin. Bitcoin is universally acknowledged as the commodity. There's no way to get anything else acknowledged as a commodity or a security or trade or currency. So we're in a current environment where the only path forward is Bitcoin. That's the positive. The negative is it's a bumpy path because everything else is chaos, right? And opaque. And it's a Wild West. The second regulatory environment would be a regressive regulatory environment that's clear. That would be an environment where you could own maybe 6 currency tokens, a handful of commodity tokens, and you'll have a dozen or 2 dozen tokens trading on exchanges, and that's it. Maybe they'll let Circle circulate, right? If they like it. If it's a company that's regulated at issue, maybe Paxos. Okay, I can circulate Pax Gold, Pax Dollar, Circle, Bitcoin, and then we'll have a debate about whether or not there's a lightning round or some kind of proof of work token is a commodity. If so, then that's the regressive environment, a very small environment. In that case, you can own a few more things, but of course the only thing that looks really good is Bitcoin, and the rest are kind of just trading tokens. The currencies would be used for remittances. That's a net plus, right? It's still a benefit, right? You still have $1 trillion worth of U.S. dollar coin, and you could circulate that to China and Africa and South America and Asia, and it would be a net plus. Circulating on the Lightning Network and central custodial network, so there's something there. The third regime, the best regime, would be a progressive digital assets regime, where we define digital tokens, digital securities, digital currencies, digital commodities, digital exchanges, and we allow hundreds of assets and then thousands of assets, and then 10,000 assets, and then hundreds of thousands of assets to circulate friction-free, peer-to-peer, via exchanges, via open protocols like Lightning, via custodial protocols, like Binance or Coinbase or Block or Cash App. Right, that's the best. The only way that's going to happen is if some combination of regulators and policymakers in DC get together and they put forth that framework. And we will see. Right, I'm not expecting it in the next 12 months based on what I see. It seems to me like we're more likely stuck in scenario 1, which is, chaos.
It's interesting.
Chaos, Wild West, and passive aggressiveness for the next 12 months because there is no clear path forward.
Also known as Cloud World. Yeah, what is good to see, like there is a musician out there on in a musician pledge who is just releasing his money value for value via Fountain app, so you can go and listen to his music and you are streaming him sats. So he's never going to get tied up into these contractual obligations that Prince had to, and George Michael, two great examples of time past. And they can just do that with Bitcoin, and they won't have to issue their own token and spend all that money on legal fees and whatever else to ethically do that.
I get that, but to be clear though, that clearly is it's a safe haven, but it's not a digital security or a digital token or a digital currency. And so you could do the same thing by simply selling your own app on the Apple Store and telling people download the app and pay $1 a month to get your music. So there are plenty of ways to monetize content right now. And you're talking about using micropayments to support things. I think it's a totally different subject, which is under what circumstances will micropayments be successful, right? But it's not the same as what I described, right? Like I would think that, for example, Katy Perry is probably not going to rely upon streaming sats and micropayments. It'd be great if she did, but there's a lot of impedance there right now.
We need to. This is what we need to do, Mike. We need to orange pill Katy Perry to make another album and only sell that album in Bitcoin. So then she forces 100 million people to go out and at least exchange $10 to $12 worth of Bitcoin, so they can have their first touch point, so they can buy her album.
It's an interesting idea, but it's a different idea. It's a heavy lift.
It's a
heavy lift. It's very difficult. Now we're back to this issue of, is Bitcoin a currency, or is it a property or an asset? And the problem is 99.99% of the world's systems are wired to pay you in the currency. So if you look at cross-border medium of exchange, it's all the dollar. And so you can't even sell something in yen, right? If you lived in Japan and you wanted to sell something to an American and you said, hey, so you're going to lose 99% of your audience when you actually